Okay, I'm back. I almost can't believe it. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I was gone for like 18 days. I was in Chicago for like 4 or 5 days, and then I was in England for the rest of it. And I got a ton of interviews done. I got the Young Thug interview, which is live now. Ton of interviews with all these UK rappers that you guys should definitely check out, especially like AJ Tracy. There's this kid H, Dizzy Rascal. I got a bunch of heat, basically. So yeah. But anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'm just getting back into the hang of things here. I wanted to talk about this interesting development in the whole YNW Melly saga. So, for those who are completely out of the loop, YNW Melly set to do trial soon for a double murder. Meanwhile, his little brother, YNW B Slime, who I actually met when I was at Rolling Loud out in Florida. This little kid came up to me, and I could kind of see it in his face that he was related to Melly, and he had like a super rare, like custom free Melly shirt on or whatever. So he just comes right up to me and asked me for a photo and told me that he was about to start doing music. And his first video dropped, and it's got over 1 million views. It's on the YNW Melly channel. Oh, which I guess I should subscribe to, huh? Always subscribe and always like. Look, I did it for YNW Melly's little brother. You can do it for me. Anyway, so he finally dropped this video. It's called Slime Dreams. My first initial reaction. Oh, and look, number 47 on trending. No Jumper has never been on trending. Let's just make that clear. People want to know what I think about it. I think it's dope. My first reaction is like, whoa. This kid is actually pretty friggin' talented. Like, it's not the most creative thing you've ever heard, but he definitely is. You know, it's pretty obvious to me that he learned at least a lot of what it is to be a rapper from his older brother, because he has sort of the same bizarre fascination with guns and stuff that his brother always had. If you listen to YNW Melly's lyrics, that's one thing that makes it a little tough for him in court. Non-stop pistol packing talk, basically. So his brother B Slime ain't no different. He's talking all that stuff too, but he does have a little bit more of a melodic type thing going on. It's kind of like more like a Lil Mosey or a Juice World even type flow. It's very, sing-songy. You'll understand when you watch it. But it's good. I like it. In the second verse, he starts to like experiment a little bit more in terms of his flow and everything, and that kind of to me stood out as a Melly influence as well, because I feel like Melly is a dude who is, really, now that I look at his catalog, I see a lot of, people early on, people gave Melly some shit saying he sounded like Thug, and then like once you get to the Melly's album, I don't really hear that much of it, in the sense of like, obviously he was influenced by Thug, but he doesn't sound derivative of Thug at all. But I always looked at Melly as a dude who was just very, very willing to experiment and do weird flows and do bizarre shit in the middle of his verses, which of course is kind of a Thug thing. And I'm not just saying that because I just put a Young Thug interview, which you can go watch. But his brother, there's like a moment at the beginning of the second verse where I'm kind of like, oh, okay, he's a little creative. I get it, because when you listen to the hook, it's good, but it's just kind of, sing-songy. It's definitely what's in rap right now. It's just this sort of, young-ass kids doing cute jingle rap, like super catchy, sing-songy stuff, but also simultaneously talking about drugs, talking about guns. Not that he's necessarily talking about drugs, I'm not sure, but he's definitely talking about guns, talking about being in the trap house, and then also being a little sad, Like, what happens when I die in my dreams is like kind of a line he keeps repeating, So now in rap in 2019, it's like you could be a gangster rapper, but you can also be sort of like weirdly surface level emo. That just sort of seems like a sort of default posture for a lot of these young rappers. Anyway, I'm messing with it. I could see it doing good. I could see it definitely running up a lot more significant numbers. So shout out to B Slime. I'm a fan. If you investigate his Instagram here, you're going to see, again, look at contemplative, light, low-key emo, but not, super emo. But, he's making a lot of the right connections and stuff. He met Choppa If Drew filmed it and it ain't filmed right or whatever. If Drew ain't filmed it, then it ain't filmed right. That's who did the video, I guess. If I dug deep enough in this, I would find a photo with me. No, maybe not. Maybe that was just on the story. Anyway, I'm optimistic, to be real. And one other person who's optimistic, let's talk about this. YNW Melly, look at this. YNW Melly smiles in court footage, claims he and Bortland will be home soon. So this is pretty interesting, too, is that YNW Melly, recently he put this clip on his Instagram. I'm not going to play it because I hate the copyright shit. I just don't want to deal with it. But it basically just shows him and his lawyers in court communicating, looking like they don't have a friggin' care in the world, man. Let me tell you, like they just, Melly is either innocent and knows he's getting out, or he's just a real deal psycho. Because, if I had been sitting there rotting in jail, I'm definitely not going to be smiling and big cheesing like him and his legal team are in this clip. It is really something. It really stands out to me as an interesting shit. I guess I give him the benefit of the doubt that he might have an ace up his sleeve in terms of this trial, because the lawyers seem pretty happy too, and lawyers normally just are miserable, sad people. And I can also say that, like my thing with Melly is that I've always known Melly through his manager Track, who's like the dude that he's been with since like day one, always been super close homies. Shout out to Track. But when I talk to Track about this shit, and we're not the best friends in the world, but we're pretty tight. I feel like he would be upfront with me if Melly was fucked, or if he felt like Melly was fucked. I feel like he would kind of tell me, like, not super in your face, but I feel like he would kind of be, he wouldn't mislead me. But when I talk to Track, I very much get that vibe that he's not super worried about this, that he feels like things are going to be good, that the situation is going to work out well, which I guess is kind of interesting because, the initial blitz of news that we heard about Melly and his case, God, they made it sound like they were going to put him under the jail with the quickest of ease, like they had so much evidence, blah, blah, blah. But I guess that's kind of part of it these days, is that the cops have to put out the image on social media and stuff. Like the cops are using social media too, and the cops are, essentially just messaging to the public, trying to get the idea out there that you're guilty before they actually put you on trial. They want to paint you publicly as being as guilty as possible, because they know at the end of the day that some of the people listening or watching are jurors, that the jurors are inevitably, or the judges or whoever, everybody's going to be swayed by whatever the public opinion is. And if everybody out there is just saying, oh, that motherfucker's guilty as hell, then that's better for the cops. So I don't know. I'm not acting like I know anything. But, I mean, just based on this clip, he does not seem like he has a care in the world. So, yeah, and then they show this too. In an Instagram Stories update, Melly's team claimed YNW Bortland will also be home soon. So that's interesting. It's not like he's throwing him under the bus or anything like that. What's the YNW Melly and Cardi song? Or what was I listening to the other day? Why is this slipping my mind? I'm losing it. Who was I talking to the other day that has a YNW Melly verse? I'm not going to waste time sitting here looking it up or anything. But, yeah, the Melly thing is interesting. The B Slime video is tight. I'm optimistic about it. Of course, Jay Green is out there making moves as well. Check this out. Jay Green, no jumper. Views didn't go too crazy, but Jay Green on creating YNW with Melly. Thoughts on double homicide case, 148,000 views. That's a good resource that you guys might want to go check out. I'm gonna figure out what I'm talking about here too. YNW Melly, and who wasn't it? Uzi? There it is. Keyed. Why am I so stupid? I'm having such a hard time thinking. Keyed, Melly, and Uzi. Fire song. Obviously, I can't play it right now. I'd love to. I'm gonna be on stream soon, so you might want to remind me to check it out at that point. Anyway, as far as how I'm doing, just a little update for you guys. God, I've never been on such a long trip that exhausted me to such an extent, because I was just working so much the whole time, just trying to get ready for interviews and stuff, on the fly. I was literally watching Young Thug perform while trying to look up like interviews with Young Thug on my phone, looking at his social media and stuff, trying to the wireless was so bad at Wireless Fest, ironically, and I just couldn't. I couldn't barely get it, and so I there's some stuff I wish I had asked him about that I didn't really get a chance to bring up, but who knows? Maybe I'll get another Thug interview one day. Probably not. YNW Melly, forever. Free my guy. Get him out. Get him back on the streets. Actually, I've been promised a phone interview with Melly, so look forward to that and remind him. I guess he has a thing coming out. He has like a project or something. There's something coming out soon before the trial even. I believe he's got a thing coming out that they want to promote. So we're gonna do the phone interview. Anyway, everybody go listen to that YNW B Slime song too, because we gotta support young artists. Check it out. Like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate y'all. Peace.